Hello, welcome to today's session. We've got a few more minutes to admit more participants into this session. So we'll just make yourself comfortable, grab something to drink, and we'll do formal introductions at the top of the hour. So in about 2-3 minutes. Welcome, everyone. My name is Paul Macedo, Communications Director with Cando, and this session is Mythbusting Government Procurement. We're just admitting a few more guests into the session, and then I'll begin with the formal introductions. This session is being recorded and will be accessible starting later this afternoon at Cando's website. It's edo.ca. And you go to the links to learning tab and go to the Wednesday sessions, and then you'll find the session recording there. Okay, we'll just okay, so welcome. My name is Paul Macedo, Communications Director with Cando, and this is Mythbusting Government Procurement. Cando is proud of its working relationship with Public Services and Procurement Canada and their Procurement Assistance Canada office in delivering procurement workshops and also a procurement mentorship program that's currently being delivered to a second cohort of EDOs so that they can learn about government procurement opportunities and as a means to enhance revenues and diversify income streams for businesses and for communities. It's not for everyone, but it can be a viable option for many Indigenous businesses and communities. So that's part of the rationale that we have to present these workshops. Today with us, I guess he's the main myth buster, is Tim Lowe with Procurement Assistance Canada Pacific Region, part of Public Services and Procurement Canada. Tim, take it away.
All right, thanks, Paul. Botanshi, Tim Lowe Dishinik Kashon, Nia Métis. My mother was Métis, and I come from the Amiot, Blondo, Kelly, and Lapierre family lines. I was born and raised in the village of Lebret in the Qu'Appelle Valley in southern Saskatchewan, which is Treaty 4 territory, and also a historic hunting area for the Métis Nation. I'd like to acknowledge today that I'm coming to you from the beautiful unceded traditional territory of the Staminas Coast Salish peoples on Vancouver Island, where I'm very fortunate to live, work, and play with my family. I'm actually a retired federal public service executive that was drawn out of retirement by an interesting posting I seen in the Cando newsletter, where then the Office of Small and Medium Enterprise was looking for somebody to help them with their Indigenous engagement strategy. And I've got about 40 years experience working for various levels of government, provincial, federal, Indigenous governments, as well as working for INAC at the time. Lots of experience in economic, business, and human resource development. And one of my pet peeves over the years as a member of a successful Aboriginal Capital Corporation in both Saskatchewan and in BC was federal procurement and how difficult federal procurement was. So I thought when I seen this opportunity, maybe I would get on the inside and see if I could influence some policy changes and whatnot, and make it easier and more accessible for Indigenous businesses to be successful with federal procurement. So here I am. I've been on. I work part-time with Procurement Assistance Canada in the Pacific region, and as a policy advisor. And I must say that the team is very, very dedicated to trying to make things easier, more navigable for Indigenous businesses. And the myth-busting presentation that I'll provide today is just one of the seminars that we offer to Indigenous businesses and communities with respect to federal procurement. So with that, if you don't mind, unless there are any questions to start with, I'll begin the presentation. All right, and feel free to put questions in the chat or to interrupt me, ask any questions that you might have along the way. All right, let's start by talking about potential opportunities. Each year, the Government of Canada spends billions of dollars by awarding hundreds of thousands of contracts and making well over 1 million direct credit card purchases every year. This represents a huge potential market. As you can see on the slide, over $23 billion a year is spent on goods, services, and construction, and well over 500,000 contracts and processes over the year. So why aren't more Canadian small businesses taking advantage of these opportunities? One of the best part about my job is that I get to engage with the small business community and hear their concerns. When I ask small business if they have considered selling to the Government of Canada, here are some of the most common answers I get. The government isn't interested in what we sell. The government only buys from big corporations. We are too small to compete, and it's too complicated. And I'm here to tell you, it is complicated. One of the myths is that government doesn't buy from smaller businesses. So if you're talking about the small percentage of contracts for big ticket items that we hear about in the media, then you're probably right. There are only a handful of companies around the globe that can manufacture and sell fighter planes, for example. But actually, the majority of contracts awarded by the Government of Canada are valued at under $25,000. Almost all credit card purchases, which are direct purchases from vendors, are valued under $10,000. And smaller Canadian companies are well positioned to take on these types of contracts and provide the Government of Canada with the majority of goods and services it needs every year. Another myth is that I'm too small to sell to government. So then you think the Government of Canada only deals with businesses and large corporations. The truth is that the Government of Canada buys more goods and services from micro, small, and medium enterprises than it does from large companies. Smaller companies vastly outnumber large corporations. Their competitive edge comes from offering a wider range of specialized products and services and from being local and innovative. Of course, of all the contracts managed by PSPC, Public Services and Procurement Canada, 52% of total contract value is awarded to smaller businesses. Another myth is that government doesn't buy from businesses like mine. The government has been working to make it easier for all kinds of suppliers to do business with the federal government, including those that have little or no experience with the process. It's been making procurement processes easier, faster, and more accessible, so they're less burdensome for businesses. It's been experimenting with pilot projects to increase opportunities for businesses run by groups that haven't sold as much to the government in the past, like businesses owned by women, visible minorities, or persons with disabilities, and social enterprises. A priority is also encouraging departments to find ways to increase the value of contracts awarded to Indigenous businesses. It's expanding opportunities for green goods and services by making environmentally friendly purchasing a focus as well. Another myth is that the government doesn't buy what I sell. Let's see if we can separate fact from fiction on this. What does the government of Canada buy? Of course, they buy military equipment, icebreakers, computers, software, and office supplies, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Do you know that they also buy food, all types of training, exercise equipment, plumbing supplies, golf carts, bicycles, veterinarian and health services, and so much more? It's a very wide range, and there's a need for types of goods and services that smaller businesses sell. Okay, sorry about that. This slide says that the government procurement is difficult and time consuming. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is. It is difficult and it is time consuming. There are all kinds of procurement, but there are all kinds of federal laws and regulations, as well as Treasury Board of Canada policies that guide the government of Canada's procurement process. All of these procurement activities are designed to make sure that the procurement system and process is open, fair, and transparent. However, the government of Canada is trying to make things more accessible and easier to deal with. Things like e-procurement, where they're going to put the very paper process online. So it'll be much easier for businesses to access the opportunities, review the opportunities, and submit their bids. There's 15-day payments. So we're going to try, the government of Canada is trying their best to make sure that payments are made within 15 days of the receipt of the good or service that's under the contract. It's very important to know that the government of Canada cannot provide advance payments. So payments as fast as possible is really, really beneficial to the small business community. Also, they're trying to incorporate plain language into the tender documents. The tender documents that you probably see, if you've gone on the website and looked at some of the tender documents up to now, they're very, very legalistic, very bureaucratic. And take a lawyer sometimes to actually figure out what it is that we're actually looking for, and all the rules and regulations around submitting the bid and providing the service. So trying our best to put plain language in the tender documents so that it's more user friendly. And also reducing barriers to entry through these electronic processes, and by providing seminars and support such as this seminar to small businesses so they better understand the system. Another myth is that the government procurement is centralized. Actually, the government of Canada has hundreds of departments and agencies, and they operate all across Canada, not just in Ottawa. So when you think about selling to the government of Canada, you should think of it as hundreds of potential clients with different needs and in different geographic locations. Let's take the RCMP, for example. They have detachments across the country, all across the country, even in remote areas. They need a whole range of services like janitorial services, landscaping, snow removal, and the list goes on and on and on. Another example is Parks Canada, which needs exactly the same kinds of services, as well as federal buildings in locations right across the country. All need janitorial services, landscaping, snow removal, and other things associated with building maintenance and repair. So let's do a quick overview of how the procurement process actually works. For the purchase of goods over 25,000 and 40,000 for some services, the government will issue a public notice. This is what is known as a tender notice. Tender notices are published on a centralized government hosted website, which is buyandSell.gc.ca, which I'll talk about more in a minute. This is a very formal process designed to ensure open, fair, and transparent competition for government contracts. Basically, the government lays all of its cards on the table by publishing a document that clearly outlines who has the requirement, which department has the requirement, what they require, where and when the goods and or services are to be delivered, and how they intend to pick the winner. So in the tender document, you will see a statement of work which outlines exactly what the requirement is and who has it, where and when the goods are needed, and how they actually intend to pick the winner. So there'll be bidding information on there. And it's really, really important to look at that bidding information really closely. And within that bidding information is the bid evaluation, the criteria that'll be used to assess your bid. And that's a combination of mandatory criteria as well as technical criteria. And it may be, the awards may be awarded on lowest price, or it could be a combination of price and technical ratings. And there's various evaluation methods used within this, but it's very, very clearly outlined in the tender document, so that when you're preparing a bid, it's important that you understand what points are being given for certain aspects of the bid and the requirements there. So it's really important to focus on those things when you're preparing your bid to give yourself the best opportunity and best chance of winning it. Anyone capable of delivering on the requirement and willing to take the time to prepare a bid has a fair shot at winning the contract. Contracts below 25,000 for goods and below 40,000 for services are usually awarded using some kind of competitive process, but it's a much less formal process, likely along the lines of requesting 3 quotes rather than a 35-page request for proposal tender notice document. The government will identify potential suppliers via supplier lists, industry associations, or even using Google. And there are various supply lists available across the country right now. One of them that you might be aware of is the Indigenous Business Directory with the Indigenous Services Canada, with their procurement strategy for Indigenous businesses. Businesses can register in that directory. So a lot of government purchasers will go to that directory to find suppliers that can supply the goods or services that they need. I know Cando is developing a directory as well. CCAB, the Canadian Council for Aboriginal Business, has an inventory as well. So there are a number of supplier lists available through various organizations, and government buyers will go to those lists to see who's available to provide these goods and services. And they even use Google to find organizations as well. For purchases under 10,000, the process can be even less formal. Often it could be as simple as a telephone buy or an online purchase. So if you want to tap into this multi-billion-dollar market, you need to be proactive and make sure buyers know where to find you, like having an online presence or being on one of these suppliers lists that I talked about. Another really good strategy is to use the government employee directory service, which you can use, and it's on canada.ca. You can find it there. And it provides a directory of all federal government employees as well. And in there, you can find the procurement officers for all of the departments who you can contact directly to market your business. And they can conversely get a hold of you to talk about what you might be able to offer the government to provide for the need that they have. So you can market your business directly to government buyers. Generally speaking, government buyers can engage with businesses directly for low dollar value procurement of goods up to 25,000 or services up to 40,000. Over these thresholds, goods are purchased through a competitive process and services are purchased through pre-qualified suppliers. The pre-qualified suppliers approach is when you go to the buy and sell website, you may see something called a request for standing offer or a request for a supply arrangement. When you're submitting a bid through these mechanisms, if you're successful, you'll be a pre-qualified supplier of a particular good or service, and the government purchasers can use the standing offers to call up a quote from a registered supplier. And similarly, with the supply arrangements, the government buyers can request a quote from the supply arrangement holder as well. So a number of ways that you can market your business and be on these lists to get access to these opportunities. So how can you figure out if selling to the government is right for you? Well, you need to go to the buyandsell.gc.ca website, which is the authoritative source for the government procurement information. Federal departments and agencies use the buy and sell website to advertise their requirements. And there are a number of benefits to using the buy and sell website. One is the access is free and you don't have to register. You can search by using plain language, by goods and services identification number, or by the United Nations Standard Products and Services codes to find these opportunities. You can find previous contact notices, which gives you an idea of what buyers have bought in the past and can be useful for you as you develop your own business strategy. You can also subscribe to notifications when new opportunities are published. You'll see on the slide, this is the buy and sell website. So they're new today, and there are hundreds of tenders that are posted daily. So you can find out what opportunities are available on a daily basis. Also, if there's a particular opportunity that you found that you're wanting to bid on, it's important that you check for amendments, because these amendments often change how things are being delivered, or maybe timeframes or that sort of thing. A lot of the amendments are based on questions or concerns that potential suppliers have contacted the contracting authority to discuss, and have convinced the contracting authority that the amendment is needed to make the tender more accessible. So it's important to check every day if there's something that you're interested in. Also, on the buy and sell website, you can register for an email notification on the particular opportunity that you're interested in. So that, you know, if you're interested in a janitorial service opportunity in Edmonton, for example, and the tender is there, you can actually register register for the email notification, and you will get information on that particular tender opportunity when and if their amendment ever happens, so that when you're preparing your bid, you'll have all the up-to-date information available to you. And the website provides a lot more information, and I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. These next two slides are around the electronic procurement solution. As I mentioned earlier, the Government of Canada is moving its procurement process online, and it is this will change the way government and suppliers interact to buy and sell goods and services. There will be a new system called Canada Buys that you can find on canadabuys.canada.ca, which is also on the buy and sell website. That'll gradually replace the buyandsell.gc.ca. And really, this is kind of the gateway to the electronic processing system that will be introduced gradually over the next few years. They've been dealing on this for a couple of years now. It'll probably take a couple more years before it actually is fully operational. So it's being introduced in gradual phases right now. Registration is open through Canada Buys, and you find that again on the buy and sell website. And I'll go back to the previous slide. No, it's not on there. Well, let's take a minute. I think we've got some time. We'll just go to the buy and sell website. So here's a live Canada.gc.ca website. So you'll see on the top here, the Canada Buys is here, so suppliers can register. It's new. There's lots of information on the new system if you want to stay ahead of the game. And you click here to get started. And again,
Tim, sorry,
yes?
Tim, we can't see that. We're still seeing your
I'm
PowerPoint
sorry.
presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. So if you want to close that PowerPoint and then do the share screen with your live website, then we'll be able to see it.
Well, maybe I'll just go through the presentation and we can always go back to it later.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, God. Okay. I think I may have done something different here or wrong. Sorry about this. Okay, again, like I said, they're working at introducing the electronic procurement process, and it's being worked on as we speak, basically. It's going to use something called SAP Ariba, which is a web-based tool accessible on Canada Buys. It's the tool that procurement, the corporate procurement community uses. All levels of government. It's just the way that procurement is being done globally right now. So the government of Canada is going to be on that platform very soon. It's also on the Buy and Sell website. There'll be an events calendar available to you where you can check for upcoming seminars related to the Canada Buys, as well as seminars that Procurement Assistance Canada offers as well. One of the things that the government of Canada is doing, particularly for the Department of Defense, National Defense, and the Canadian Armed Forces, is a new program called the Innovation for Defense Excellence and Security. And this is their access to innovation program. It transforms defense and security challenges being faced by the various partners in defense as well as the armed forces. Basically, this program has a number of elements that assists innovators to get their products in front of the Department of Defense as well as the armed forces. Participating in the IDEAS program gives many benefits to the innovators involved, from access to world-class subject matter experts to generous funding opportunities. Each element is unique in how it is designed and to advance science and technology to deliver support to innovation. The Innovation Networks provides $1.5 million to encourage collaboration and build a network of expertise that advances research and development in support of Canada's current and future defense and security innovation challenges. Competitive projects, it provides up to $1.2 million in phased development funding to build and progress technology forward. Promising solutions can be selected to advance to demonstration and testing stages of the IDEAS program. Contests are about pitting the best solutions against each other to solve complex issues for cash prizes. Funding is contest specific. As an example, their most recent contest had a total prize pool of $3.5 million for the winner. However, each of the 4 rounds had cash prizes to help selected innovators in developing their concepts, resulting in an integrated solution. Sandboxes are an opportunity for innovators to test and demonstrate their solutions in the presence of military experts and users. The sandboxes element doesn't provide funding directly, but will partially reimburse up to 50% of eligible travel expenses related to the sandbox. So you may have to travel to Ottawa or Esquimalt on Vancouver Island, or wherever the lead national defense people are situated. People will have to travel to present their product or solution to a panel and so they can get reimbursed for the travel costs for that. And then finally, there's the test drive, they actually acquire your solution so that defense and armed forces can assess the readiness of your product through evaluation and testing in a real world environment for a military audience. Test drive is specifically for the most advanced and promising technologies. The amount will vary per year, or per test drive rather, and innovators will receive operational feedback from military experts. So if you're interested in that kind of an opportunity, you can visit their website at canada.ca/defense-ideas. You can submit to their mailing list, which is on their homepage. You can also follow the program on Twitter or LinkedIn, and you can email them with questions at any time. And don't forget to read the applicant guide and apply when a challenge is right for you. So Procurement Assistance, I'll tell you a little bit about Procurement Assistance Canada. This seminar has been developed and being presented today by our branch, Procurement Assistance Canada. PAC was created as part of PSPC, Public Services and Procurement Canada, to support smaller and diverse businesses in the federal procurement process. PAC's role is to engage with businesses to assist and inform them on how to sell their goods and services to the Government of Canada, and to work to reduce procurement barriers in an effort to ensure fairness in the process. We do this by listening to your concerns, helping you to understand the procurement process, and also helping you identify opportunities. Our services include seminars like this one to help you, and these can help you register your business and find opportunities through the Buy and Sell website. We can provide one-on-one meeting opportunities to provide you with more personalized support for your business. And we have an info line, a 1-800 number for questions related to the procurement or the Buy and Sell website. You can also find our information on the canada.ca/PAC website as well. You can contact the national office, or we have got offices right across the country. As you can see on the slide here, we've got two in the Pacific region, which includes the Yukon. We've got 5 offices in the Western region. There's an office in Ontario, one in Ottawa or the Gatineau area, one in Quebec, as well as offices in the Atlantic. So there's lots of ways to contact us for further assistance. Like I say, you can contact the National Info Line for general procurement questions, or if you need help in registering for a procurement business number, you can visit our website where you can find information about our services, register for upcoming seminars, access self-service resources that can be helpful to you throughout the process. You can also contact a regional office near you directly. We have 6 regional offices, as I mentioned, right across the country. So what's next? I would recommend that you download the Getting Started Selling to the Government of Canada reference sheet, which is on the Buy and Sell website. You can consult the Procurement Assistance Canada service guide, which you can find on the website as well. And you can request a callback, where one of our staff can get back to you with any, and to answer any questions or concerns, or provide you with any information you might be looking for at any time. So that's it for would you be interested in going to the Buy and Sell website? Do we have time, Paul?
Yeah, we have until the top of the hour, so we have another 20-25 minutes or so.
Okay.
Maybe we can pause now and see if there's some questions. If there are questions, you can use the chat function, or you can just unmute yourself and ask Tim. Doesn't look like there's any questions. Tim, you did such a thorough job. Yeah, so just stop sharing your screen with the PowerPoint, and then to reshare the screen and access your web browser. And that should get us to where you need to go.
That's what I'm trying to do here.
So go to the top. It says you are viewing Tim's screen, and you can stop sharing. I'll let you know when that happens.
I have lost it. Sorry about that. Why isn't it able to do this? Stop sharing.
Yeah, you've just done that. Okay.
Okay.
Now go to share your screen again. Click that button, and this time look for the web browser that you have open to buy and sell, and you should be able to share your web browser experience.
Okay. Can you see it
There
now?
we go. Yeah, you're good to go.
All right. So this is the buy and sell website that I was talking about. This is the tool to help you find the opportunities, to find the tender documents, and get all the supplier information or supports information that you need. Again, you'll see on the new today. We'll click on that one. There are how many new ones today? There are notice of proposed procurement. So these are advanced notices, which are really important, good information. Request for proposals, there's 4 of them. Invitation to tender, these are mostly construction projects. There's also a request for a standing offer. You can use various filters. You can look at tenders by region, by good or service. There's a lot of different ways to use the filters to get to right down to the kind of good or services you're interested in providing to the government. And like I said, you can register on for email notifications as well. Just want to go back to the main page. Or for example, let's put, if you're interested in janitorial, you just type in janitorial in the search page. There are no results there, so it must be. Oh, pick the bad one. Just want to go back. So just wanted to show you a little bit about this particular website. Like again, you get all of the particular tenders that are available. You can filter, but I want to get to the main page. Yeah, here. So on the main page, again, the new ones today, the amendments, you can check out the amendments. The ones that expired and the ones that have been awarded are interesting because you can find out which especially the awards, you can find out who's gotten the awards. and for what service or goods that the award was given for. So you can use that information to find out what the government is buying, the kind of businesses that have been getting the awards, and that sort of thing. Also, on here, you've got the Canada Buys information, also help for businesses, webinars about doing business with the Government of Canada. You can register as a supplier, and the supports for small businesses. These are things that I mentioned in the presentation, and you can download the information from the website to help you out getting more information about the procurement process. Lots of information about, finding your good or service by commodity type, for goods, services related to goods, construction. Then these goods and services identification number or codes. You'll find that all in this information here. Here's the information about contract history for goods and services, and construction. So past and historical information to give you an idea of what has been bought. Here's information on standing offers and supply arrangements. Standing offers and supply arrangements are a good thing to look at if you've got, office supplies or janitorial services or landscaping services or those kinds of things. They issue these standing offers where you become a pre-qualified supplier. Standing offers are mostly for those services that are kind of off-the-shelf kinds of services. The terms and conditions don't change, the prices don't change, very standard. This is what we want to buy, this is what we're willing to pay, can you provide it, sort of thing. Supply arrangements are a little different because they are more, there's more flexibility to supply arrangements, so that's when you can't really nail down a price. It'll depend on the particular tender opportunity. And a good example of a standing offer or a supply arrangement is the current wrecked and abandoned hazardous vessel standing offer or tender notice that's out there. It's to assist the Government of Canada to clean up the shorelines of wrecked and abandoned boats and ships, vessels in the waters. It's something that's very popular in the Indigenous communities as they want to clean up their beaches because of environmental concerns, because they're impeding economic opportunities, all kinds of things. And Cando is doing some excellent work with the partners, the federal partners involved with this particular supply arrangement. And Paul can maybe speak to it as well. And Cando is providing information both to the federal government as to the suppliers available, but also to the supplier community, the Indigenous business community, about this particular standing offer and how to bid, how to get involved in this particular process. And it's a multi-million-dollar opportunity that'll be going on for a number of years. I think the first one went out, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, about a year and a half ago. And there's another major one on for the larger vessels coming out in the near future. So there's all kinds of opportunities regarding this. It's, if the vessel is on land, then somebody with some equipment and some experience in dismantling, cars or whatever, in an environmentally friendly way, can take advantage of this particular opportunity. So communities and businesses, Indigenous businesses and communities especially, who see these every day in their territory and would like some help in cleaning it up, here's a great opportunity for that to happen. Anything else you want to add on that, Paul?
No, that's right. So we're working with government and we're working with Indigenous businesses and communities to match current capacity to the work that's required for some of these to remove or reclaim some of these vessels. And we're also working with communities to further develop their capacity in areas like Tim said. This is potentially a 20-year plus program. So if communities don't have the skills and the technical know-how currently, let's work to identify what's needed in the future. Let's prepare the communities and businesses to be able to take advantage of those opportunities in the future by building capacity in the short term. And so that will enable communities to take advantage of these opportunities. The other thing we're encouraging is for communities to work together, so that maybe a community that doesn't have the skills and the manpower required to take advantage of an opportunity can partner with another community, and together through a joint venture or through a program of that sort, they can then bid and be successful. So those are some of the things we're working on.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Like I said, Cando's doing some great work on that.
I believe Gordon had a question. Gordon?
Hey, Gordon, sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Tim, thank you for the excellent presentation. My name's Chief Gordon Planis from Sauk. You're speaking our language in regards to the opportunity in front of us as an aggregate on Coast Salish on South Vancouver Island. I think as a collective, we could take advantage of looking what different members and communities could provide that kind of service to Canada. I think there's needs to be work internally and externally. And, you know, we have a few ideas what we're doing in our village here in South in regards to working in the environment. And here's an example for you. You know, I just want to throw this out there just for food for thought. You know, here's an example. We're working with the Oceans Protections Plan. We're doing some work on the Salish Sea Initiative, mostly encompassing our territory, and working with the other Coast Salish on the south end of Vancouver Island. You know, we're looking at obtaining an ROV to do some work within the harbor and basin to, you know, identify hazards and ghost gear and things like that. But here's the here's the main point. That ROV, considering we're building our capacity in environmental monitoring and DFO with fisheries and all this other stuff, you know, we talked to it with our marine team and said, you know, it'd be great if we could talk with Canada or the province about, you know, using the ROV to land contracts to maybe go underneath the vessels and take a look if, you know, if those kind of contracts are open, because we could go under and maybe have a camera underneath the vessels if you know, some of the vessels don't have that capability. So that's just one idea we thought about, because that way it could help manage our environmental and DFO sectors within our territory more effectively, knowing that we could find that other procurement that could go along with what we're trying to achieve. So that's just an example of how we're thinking outside the box and how we can build that capacity amongst all of us as an aggregate. And communications is the key. And sometimes that's one of the biggest stumbling blocks we have, is how do we communicate with each other? So I see this presentation as well received, and I'm definitely going to share with my contacts what I've seen today. So thank you for that, Tim.
Well, thank you very much for that, Chief Plains. I mean, this particular request for supply arrangement, the wrecked and abandoned hazardous vessel, could be a catalyst for that aggregate discussion. And your ROV, that's robotic.
Underwater.
It's underwater robotic, looking at the vessels. Well, part of the tender is assessment, especially for those that are in the water, where you have to go under and look at things to see what the situation is underwater and how to best be able to extract the vessel from the water and get it on land where it can be dismantled and recycled appropriately. So yeah, I mean, I would encourage you to seriously have a look at that particular tender and talk to your colleagues about submitting a bid, because that I see that as an advantage. It's an excellent tool for the assessment component of this particular tender. And yeah, definitely worth a look. And it's a long-term opportunity. It's not just a short project. And there are a number of vessels on the island, you're well aware, South Island, North Island, East, West, all around our coasts. There's all kinds of these vessels that need to be dealt with. So the opportunity is huge. Absolutely.
Well, thank you for that. Aishka.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? I just go to the screen again. Under the events, you'll see there are a number of events coming up. There's another one today in supplying professional services. That's for consulting and consulting services with regards to change management or human resources, or professional or consulting services that the government's looking for. Also, the doing business with the government of Canada. That's the larger presentation that covers a lot of ground. It talks about what we do as an organization, as a department, and as a branch of that. It talks about how to work with this buy and sell website, how to network with the government of Canada, how to access the various department procurement officers. Talks about bidding, talks about security requirements, talks about a lot of things. That's the overall presentation. And then there's various components that can be delivered separately off of that as well. So it's just an example of where you can go and find events such as this one and have a look. Not to take away from what Cando does, but Cando is involved in a lot of things, and this is just some additional resources available to you.
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay.
Mike Anderson, Skeetchest and Natural Resource Corporation, out of Savannah, BC.
Yeah.
We're in the process of manufacturing small, round, energy efficient building kits. Just kind of wondering where within the government would we aim to market something like that. Our buildings are anywhere, like we have one model at 500 square feet and one at 1,000 square feet.
Well, I would look in the goods on the buy and sell website. Look at in the goods area, probably under real estate, I would think. Go to the website here.
I guess the other question is, do you think there's any market for such a product within the government?
Oh,
Department of
definitely. I would think
Defense?
it would be defense. It could be as a subcontractor to a prime contractor doing a large construction project.
Okay.
That's where when you look at the awards that are given, you'll find out which companies have been given these contracts, and you can then, by knowing who got these larger contracts, where you can be a part of their supply chain, providing your product to them to help with that particular project overall. You can contact the company directly, and that particular project may have an Indigenous participation requirement, where the prime contractor has had to have, or will have to have, benefits to Indigenous communities. And if you are approaching them with your particular good or service, and it fits that particular project, well, you can become part of the supply chain and get your business that way.
Okay, thank you.
I would suggest Department of Defense or Parks Canada would be two departments of interest. But yeah, as Tim said, there could be, you could be looking at prime contractors and being a subcontractor to them rather than being the prime yourself.
Okay, very good. Thanks.
There's other
Thanks, Paul.
opportunities. Okay,
Okay.
very good.
I've put my email address in the chat. So if anybody would contact me anytime with any questions, and if I can't answer them, I can find you somebody that can.
Very good. I've also attached my email address as well. So if you think of any questions or any follow-up that you might need, please direct your questions to me or to Tim, and we'll both endeavor to get your question answered, whether it's directly with our knowledge or through one of through the networks that we have. There's a question about emailing your PowerPoint presentation. Maybe we can include that as part of the webinar Wednesday recording. I can get it from Tim and I can embed it onto the web page where the recording will be, and that way you can browse through Tim's PowerPoint, download it if you wish, and browse through it if you like. So we can take care of that. Let me, I'll just copy and paste the website link for everyone as a reminder. So the recording and the PowerPoint will be available at that web address, edo.ca. Go to the top and it says links to learning. Click on that and go to webinar Wednesday, and then it will be in that page. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time out of your busy day to spend it with us. Thank you, Tim, as always, for your knowledge and sharing that knowledge with us. It's a tremendous resource. And again, it's not necessarily for everyone, but everyone should at least know about it to make an informed decision about if government procurement is an opportunity worth pursuing. So thank you all again. Enjoy your day. Thanks, Tim.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day, everyone.